The second thing I would say is I'm very proud of my football team. There was some question when we began the playoffs as to whether or not we belonged in the national playoffs. I think we answered that question today. Obviously, we were ready to play. We got off to a tremendous start. In the second half, way too many turnovers, even somewhat in the second quarter. We put our defense out there with a short field, and Pitt State took advantage of that, and probably was the difference in the ball game. But as I said, we were honored to be here representing the Great American Conference, and we felt like we represented our conference very well. Questions?
Coach, you got off to such a great start. You popped the fullback free. Was that the triple option, or was that just a direct handoff?
That was triple option. We were reading that, and that was one phase of what we call the midline, mid-triple. And, we were playing a cat and mouse game with them in the first half. They were giving us some things and taking some things away, and that even continued into the third quarter. They throttled us pretty good in the third quarter, but we felt like, it was one of those kind of things. They would make an adjustment, we'd make an adjustment, and we were successful some, but as I said early, way too many turnovers.
What were you seeing early on that allowed you guys to run up the middle like that?
Well, the inside read on the midline is usually you're reading either a 3 technique or a 5 technique, depending on which side of the defensive line we're looking at. And there were a couple of, we have a couple of different schemes that I won't really go into that, require a guy that's really not used to closing down as far as he has to close to tackle the fullback in the midline, and they weren't getting there. And that's why we were able to have so much success with those long runs up the middle.
I got one for Romo. Were you surprised at how quick momentum shifted, especially at the end of that second quarter there? I mean, you could feel that, I would think.
You asked, was I surprised?
Yeah, how quick momentum shifted in the second quarter.
I mean, I was surprised a little bit, but I felt that my team, we kept poised, and so it wasn't really too much of a momentum shift for me.
This question's for Coach. Lucas Davis in the Morning Sun. You guys jumped out to an early 21-0 lead. It was a tale of two quarters, pretty much. They came back, tied it to halftime. What did you say to your team going into the half, coming out?
Well, one thing that we talked about is that nobody expected us to even be close at halftime. And we honestly, if we had the long pass on the wheel route to Romo down the sideline, and we got to the 5 and didn't get any points out of. And we certainly should have gotten some points out of that possession. And if we had, then we should have taken a lead in at halftime. And so we talked about that. We talked about we were in a battle, and that's what we expected to be in. We certainly had a lot of confidence in our football team going into this game, and felt like we were going to be in the ball game, and we were. So, when you give the conditions, both teams scored 21 points with the wind in the first half. That's basically the tale of the first half.
Defensively, it seemed like you guys were able to keep Pitt State in check for a very long time, and then all of a sudden, it seemed like they made some kind of an adjustment. What was going on?
I think it's a combination of two things. Obviously, those are good coaches over there, and they make good adjustments. But honestly, we left. Our game is possessing the football, and we had some really quick scores, and we had some 3 and outs, and we left our defense out on the field way too long. I haven't seen the stats, but I assume the time of possession was well in Pitt State's favor.
34 to 26.
Yeah, and normally that's our game. And, we are not really deep right now. The season has taken its toll on our defensive guys, to be honest with you. And we did not need to do that to our defense today, I promise you. We needed to take care of the ball and keep the ball and keep that time of possession in our favor.
So you'd rather have a 12-play, 70-yard drive instead of a 70-yard run?
I'll take those 70-yard runs every once in a while. I just don't want to go out there and give the ball back to them. You know what I mean?
Coach, would you say, you guys came out early, scored on the big plays, finished up, scoring on the big plays. Would you say the turnover specifically in the middle, there in the third quarter, at the end of the first half, is that, would you say, the difference in the game today?
Yeah, we didn't throw the ball very well against the wind. Of course, neither did they. We had the wind in the first and the fourth, and they had it in the second and the third. And, we wanted to do in the third quarter what they did in the fourth, and that is to run the football, take time off the clock, and just serve there until we got to the fourth quarter. We were not able to do that, and I think that was the difference in the ball game.
Tello, in the second half, it seemed like every time you caught the ball, you were racing down the field. Just talk about your two long touchdown receptions and maybe how you got open and what you saw.
What I think about is my teammates. Like, they're looking at somebody. Like, we were down, momentum's kind of like, the defense is kind of struggling. They're still scoring. And I just think about somebody got to set an example. And I was just telling them, no matter how bad you're going to be, never give up and keep fighting, because at the end of the day, you might get rolled over, you might bleed a little bit, they might knock you down, but you still have to get up and keep fighting, because that's the name of the game. Get up, get knocked down again, you get back up. And I just don't see giving up in the mentality of my standards. So I just want to set that example.
How proud of your team, of you are your team for not quitting this ball game? PSU came back and scored, I want to say like 8 straight possessions almost, having the ball, but you guys didn't go away. You made it and kept it a ball game all the way throughout. How proud of you were of your offense throughout today's game?
I was pretty proud. We made some mistakes, which that's part of the triple option, and they cost us, but most part, I seen a lot of guys out there, they were still battling. We all were tired, and Pitt was making some really good plays, and I like that they can keep their head up while they're getting beat, because that shows me that in a dogfight, like, they got my back no matter what, and that's the kind of culture that we try to build. It's no matter how bad you're getting beat, if you look next to you, left and right, your brother's there. And today was a prime example of that.
Coach, if they tell you before the game you're going to have more passing yards than rushing yards, are you thinking, oh, no?
No. What we need to be able to do is take what the defense has given us, and that's what they gave us today in quite a few situations. We got some run stuff going, but when someone makes you defend the field with a triple, then you've got to get your secondary involved. You can't be sound if you don't. And all it takes is one guy getting his eyes wrong or one guy not overlapping like he should, and we got a chance for a big play in the passing game. And we knew we were going to need the passing game today, big time. And all you got to do is put the tape on and watch how fast these guys fly to the ball. And but we felt like there were some things there, and they were. So.
Take 2 more questions.
Romo, on your long touchdown runs, what did you see that the defense was giving you there? Was it just a hole from your offensive line? Did you have to make a move at any point?
Well, it started with the offensive line. It really was just a hole, and I just had to run. They just did a great job of executing the play that coaches called from the sideline. And when I got through there, I just told myself that I got to run for my team. So that's what I did. I just ran for the team.
We'll open up to Coach Beck. All right, first of all, I just want to say congrats to Harding. They've got an outstanding football team. They did a great job. They came out and really got after us early on. And you can tell, I think they're similar to us, and they got kids that play extremely hard, and they've got a lot of class. So, hats off to them. And, I felt like our football team got down 21 points. We talk about throughout the week, we talk about if we get ahead, we can't be comfortable, and if we get behind, we can't panic, and we didn't panic, and that was a good thing. We felt like we needed to play a little better early on, but a really good rally in the second quarter to get us tied back up at halftime, and then defense played good in the second half, other than a couple of big pass plays, and then offensively, we had a couple key drives into the win in the fourth quarter.
Questions?
Coach Beck, Eric Knapp from KSM TV. What changed down 21-0? What flipped the game for you?
Well, offensively, we were a little out of sync, and again, give the credit to the defense. They did a nice job of being really aggressive with our receivers, you know, and you know, kind of threw us off a little bit. We couldn't get the run game established very good early on, and again, we were out of sync a little bit. But I think once we got kind of got into the rhythm and got going a little bit, that helped us. And then defensively, you know, we had some big stops there in the second quarter as well.
Tony, Lucas Davis of the Morning Sun. Talk about how your offense started off a little rocky there. You ended up throwing yourself into a rhythm and coming off of your defense, forcing turnovers, getting you guys the ball back, scoring 3 touchdowns in, I believe, the last 5.5 minutes of the half. How big was that for your guys' confidence and momentum moving forward in the game?
It was huge. You know, last night, you know, we have a team meeting and everything, and I talked to these guys about refusing to lose, no matter what the score is, or no matter, you know, down 21. Really, because in our minds, it's just 3 points. It's just 3 touchdowns, and, you know, offensively, I feel like we can score pretty fast. So, you know, our confidence right there in our defense and as well as in ourselves was huge.
Coach Brian Plummer, talking about that. A couple of those big plays in the first half were runs right up the middle, and you guys made an adjustment, were able to take a lot of that away. What did you do differently?
Well, early on, you know, defensively, we kind of had schemed away up to kind of roll our linebackers, you know, some, and there's a time when the end's got to come down and take away the dive, and the linebackers roll, and you know, they, like I said, they are really good at adjusting things and spreading you out a little farther than you're used to, maybe, and then cutting the path of the fullback down a little bit and making it tighter. And you know, they were able to pop a couple on us, and again, it was kind of a chess match, and they kind of went back and forth on some adjustments. But they're known for, and they do a really good job of adjusting to your defense and making some really schematically some really nice changes.
To follow up on that, how big was it when the offense did get rolling a little more, gave you a little more time to have the defense on the sideline to talk?
Well, that was huge. And again, a couple of times there in the second half, we had a couple of really nice drives into the wind that, you know, they had plenty of time left. I was personally not comfortable at all, you know, with a 17-point lead, and because there was still a lot of time left on the clock. But had some drives that grinded out some clock that really helped us out.
For Heath, was it Tony Downey with the Wichita Eagle? Was the triple option just confusing to begin with, and did the change come? Was it an attitude thing, or was it a schematic thing? What was the difference?
Sure, yeah, that offense can be tough for any defense. So I just think our coaches put up a great scheme. Players, you know, we're doing our 111, so that's all you can do. So all of us have gaps. Those fill up gaps, and, you know, they won't get much. So, yeah, it was tough for us, of course. They're a great football team. So we just came together, started clicking, and, you know, when it gets down to it, it's a pretty simple offense. So, but we just came together and got it done.
Franco, you don't score any touchdowns all year, then you scored 3 today. How does that happen? Is the number change? What's going on?
No. I mean, first of all, I have to give credit to Tony and the offensive line up front. And they gave me the chance to make a play. And, I mean, just got put in the right position at the right time.
Coach Wayne with teamcom.net, Wayne Gilmore, and also Anthony. Talk about the go-ahead drive. Was it fourth and long, and did you consider? I thought you were going to quick kick it, but talk about the decision to go for it there, and then, you know, how big was that going into, you know, getting us ahead?
Well, it wasn't the go-ahead drive, I don't believe, was it? Was it?
21 all, wasn't it?
I think we were up by 1 at the time, or maybe even up by, yeah. But yeah, we'll talk about it a lot. But it was a great call by Anthony. We called the play at the line of scrimmage, and Anthony did a nice job of adjusting and throwing the slant.
What did you see on that play, Anthony?
I just felt really good about the slant to Gavin because he does a great job with it, and he's such a big body. And 24, he's a big corner too. I just kind of liked our matchup right there, and I felt really confident in Gavin Lutman. So.
Tay, talk a little bit about playing off each other this game. You guys have been huge on that, playing the defense off the offense this season. You guys started forcing the turnovers. The offense started putting up points. Talk about how it was just a transition from offense to defense to get you guys rolling.
We've been working on that all season. I think we've been doing a good job of just complimenting each other, giving each other and getting each other up after every play. If they make a mistake, it's okay. We're gonna get them back up and get them back rolling. Like Coach said, it took us a minute to get going, but once we get going, it's a lot to stop us. And it don't matter who in the crowd, it don't matter who's talking. If we giving each other compliments, if we right behind each other 100%, it don't matter.
They came in the game, obviously running the ball all over everybody. You guys gave those 2 big runs early. What did you guys do to stick with it and end up corralling them there towards the end of the first half and into the second half?
It was just a little adjustments. Just play regular, like he said. It's a simple offense. We just play regular. But most of the more important thing we had to do was just get up to their pace of their game. We never played them before, so we had to find their pace and we had to make them play our pace. We had to switch the ball game around. So I think there was a big difference in the game in the second half.
And to Coach, bouncing off of what Tay said, how different was it coming in against an opponent you've yet to see on the field this year?
Well, that's the thing is you'll have no common opponent, so you don't know. You watch all the video and you really don't know. There's some things they did much better than Missouri Southern, but there's like the rocket toss play that Missouri Southern runs that they didn't run it as fast as Missouri Southern. So Tay brings up a good point. The pace was something we had to get accustomed to, and you know, it was a nice. I mean, their offense is tough to defend. I mean, the triple's tough to defend, especially when you see spread teams every single week, and then you have to prepare for it in a few days. But I think it helped us that we prepared for Southern a couple weeks ago. But I think the pace was something that we had to get accustomed to.
Austin, Jim Henry from the Globe. Does Argerbright throw as good a ball as Tony?
I'd say Tony throws a better ball, but I mean, I got to give Brad credit. He made a good play and he threw it out there. And something we worked on all week and just kind of laughed about as a receiver group of who would throw it. And Brad was nominated and he threw a good ball.
What did you think when the play was called today?
I had a big smile on my face walking out there just because I knew it was coming. I was pretty excited.
I got one for Anthony, or whoever wants to answer it. You guys win this game, and it doesn't seem like you can enjoy it for very long because you got to go not only into a very harsh environment to go play the #1 team in the country. Is this something you even talked about already, or to give yourself a night, or what?
We haven't talked about it, and the only thing is we talked about it a little bit in the locker room that we will travel next week, but our guys really do a good job of embracing the 1 week at a time. I mean, they really do. And you can't do that. You can say it. Coaches all say it. But you can't do that if you don't have good senior leadership. And our guys do a great job of keeping everybody grounded. And, you know, it's 1 day at a time. We've got 3 quality days to practice, and we've got to take care of those. And I think we've talked about enough. They understand. We have 3 good days of practice. It gives us a great chance to win on Saturday. And so, you know, we have to take care of business during the week, and we'll talk on Tuesday about our game plan and get it put together and get ready to go.
Keith, when you're down 21-0, what were you guys saying on the sidelines? What was the mood on the sidelines at that point?
I don't think I can speak defensively. I don't think we were ever doubting ourselves one bit. You know, we just had to say, you know, get up. We need to get in the sidelines and get the offense going. So the mood, yeah, at times I think some people had their heads down, but you just gotta get out of that and realize we're literally down 3 points, you know, in 1 half. So I don't think it was a big deal. I never lost. Defense definitely wasn't worried, I don't think. So we just had to turn around and started getting clicking, like Coach said, and we got it going. So.
Are you surprised you got back and tied it as quickly as you did?
Yeah, it was a good job.
Was it big?
Yeah, it was. It was, you know, just getting that first one was the major chore. I think getting that first one in, and then our guys did a really nice job of managing the clock at the end of the second quarter. And so, nice job by our offensive coaches and our players of hustling up there to the line and getting the ball clocked and, saving some time, and it shorts you down each series, in that series. But really nice job of them managing clock and giving us a chance to get that third one in right before half.
For Tony and for Coach, tying that up before half, I mean, it's a whole new ballgame coming out. Was there any different type of a feeling knowing that you guys had scored so quickly coming back into halftime that the second half, I mean, it was wide open for anyone to take?
Yeah, when we were down 21-0, like Coach said, we didn't panic at all. So that was my goal to at least by half to get it tied up, because then it's 0-0 again, a whole new ball game, and it's anyone's game at that point. So that was my goal, and when they gave us the ball on our side of the field and we had time on the clock, offensively we made sure we were going to score, so we had that 21-21 at half.
That headband looks ripped like right out of 1985. What did you do that?
Well, my hair was long at the beginning of the season, so I had to have this headband to keep it back, and now my helmet doesn't fit without it, so I just have to keep it on.
Tony, talk a little bit about how you guys going through some adversity earlier in the season, playing all the tough competition you played throughout the MIAA. How does that help you coming into this game, falling down 21-0, but knowing that you've done it in the past, coming back, and you had the chance to do it again in this game?
Yeah, that's huge. We've gone through a lot of adversity this year, and I think that's what's so great about this team is, we can be down, things can't be going our way, but, we keep trucking along, and, we refuse to lose. My redshirt freshman year under Zach Dickey, I learned a lot from him. The Arrowhead game, they were down, I think 22 points was it, and they kept fighting, and so I learned a lot that year, and how to keep fighting and how to never give up, and if you want it bad enough, you'll get it.